Hi everyone, my name is Julien Verheughe. I'm a solution architect here at Tier Digital, and today I'll be talking about the Odoo and Shopify integration. So what will I cover today? First of all, the why. Why is this valuable for your business? Why should you integrate your Shopify store with your Odoo ERP? Secondly, the what. What does it actually mean integrating those two systems? Uh, Third point will be the how. I will actually show you how it's done, what it entails, and what are all the different aspects of integrating these two systems. Point number four is the hard stuff. So after this video, you might think that it's pretty easy to do this, but there are a couple of complexities that might pop up. So I will definitely cover those as well. So let's start with why. Why should you integrate your e-commerce layer, in this example, Shopify, with Odoo? Well, there are a lot of different reasons. I didn't list all of them here to keep the video a bit short as possible, but here are a couple of the main reasons. First of all is to create an automated, or at least semi-automated, order to cash flow. So what does this exactly mean? It means that you want the order processing, so from order intake, so someone is ordering something on your web shop, up until processing the payment, doing the financial reconciliation, and also the logistical process of fulfilling the order. You want as much of that as possible to be automated, meaning no human interaction, because this means that the process is scalable. If the orders go times 10, then the impact on an operation level will be minimized. So that's one of the key points here. And I'm not going to say that it automates everything within your process, but it at least starts doing that in a couple of steps, and it will allow you to scale your business without having to increase your operational costs, adding more manpower to it. Um, yeah, that's point number one. Point number two, convergence of your B2B and B2C logistical and financial processes. If these two systems are not integrated yet, then this means that the operational flow that happens after an order is done within your Shopify store is completely separate from your B2B fulfillment flow or B2B operational financial processes, which would probably live in Odoo. So merging those two together by syncing orders from Shopify to Odoo will simplify your operational processes, will allow you to work from one system, Odoo, to do all those operational processes, so the logistical and the financial processes in particular. And it will allow you to standardize more things, which means that employee onboarding becomes easier, less mistakes, less technical complexity overall as well. Point number three, consolidated sales reporting. So if you have a lot of different sales channels with different systems, then all of the sales information is just scattered across your system landscape. By integrating these systems together and accumulating or consolidating the order data within Odoo, then this will allow you to draw insights by having all this order data in one place without having to do the monthly exports or connect to very pricey reporting tools. This also comes with this integration. Point number four, inventory accuracy over all systems. If you're using different systems for different sales channels, so let's say, for example, you're using Odoo for your B2B sales, you're using Shopify for your B2C sales, but the orders are, or the stock rather, is the same for both channels, then how do you keep the stock levels in sync within across those different systems? an integration also solves this. This way you don't sell things that you don't have in stock, or you're not out of stock because you didn't have the latest sales data from that particular sales channel slash system. So these are 4 reasons why integrating your e-commerce layer, in this case Shopify, with your ERP layer, in this case obviously Odoo. All right, so what does the integration do? What doesn't the integration do? The core of an integration is moving data from system A to system B and from system B to system A. So that's the basic premise of an integration. In this case, or in this example here, I have 2 systems on the left side before integration, Shopify and Odoo. And in Shopify, we have our products, we have our stock, we have the same products, and we also have stock within Odoo. And then we have B2C prices, B2C orders, B2C customers, collections, payout reports, things that are, or data points rather, that are specific to Shopify. And then in Odoo, we have our B2B prices, B2B orders, B2B customers. So data points that are specific to B2B sales in this case, and are living in Odoo. Well, after the integration is done, we will sync some of this data between the 2 systems. Obviously, we will sync orders from Shopify to Odoo, including the prices, customers, and collections as well. Payout reports are also synced if needed. So what is a payout report? If you're using Shopify payments as your payment provider within your Shopify store, then it means that all of the payment information will be saved within payout reports, which you can then sync to Odoo for the reconciliation after. Same principle if you use a Mollie or a Stripe, but then this payment data is of course outside of Shopify within the Mollie or Stripe platform or PayPal, and you would connect to that. So these pay reports are just specific to Shopify payments. So you will get all of this data from Shopify to Odoo, and you will send back information from Odoo to Shopify, like the order fulfillment updates, and maybe also the stock updates if Odoo is your single source of truth for your stock information. So that's the basic premise of the integration and of data integration, is sending data from system A to system B and vice versa. The second part, which an integration also impacts, is of course the processes. So the integration also enables process integration. You remember before I said that you would have 2 different operational workflows if your systems are not integrated. Well, integrating your systems also means integrating your processes. And this is a good visual that shows you exactly what this process integration would mean. It would mean an integration on both financial process level and also on logistical process level. So meaning that if an order is placed in Shopify, it will be synced to Odoo. It will generate a sales order in a sales module, which will in turn generate a delivery order within the inventory module. And then the processing of that delivery order will happen within Odoo. Once that delivery order has been dispatched from the warehouse to the customer, Odoo will also send an update to Shopify so that the order can be marked as fulfilled, which is a lot of times a trigger for an automated email marketing workflow. And then on the financial side, you have different options here, of course. Kind of depends how you process your sales reconciliation for online orders. But you can do this by creating individual invoices per order and then reconciling all those individual orders in your accounting module, or you can do this in different ways. But this part is also processed within Odoo. So data integration, process integration is really what it's all about. Let's talk about the how, and I'm going to dive into Odoo and Shopify in a minute. But before I do that, let me just cover a couple of things here. So what do you need for this integration of systems? Well, obviously you need an Odoo database. This can be hosted on Odoo SH or on custom hosting, which would enable you to use different integration solutions. But you can also use Odoo Online for some type of solutions. I think most of the time we would have an Odoo database that is hosted on Odoo or on a custom hosting. There are a couple of edge cases where Odoo Online is also feasible. Secondly, you need a Shopify instance. You can't connect a Shopify store if you don't have one. And then the third point, maybe the most interesting point here on the slide, is the integration solution that suits your needs. What does that mean? It means that you have different types of integration solutions, and all those solutions have their advantages and have their disadvantages. Some of them are less costly, but don't have that many features or have certain restrictions. Others are more costly, but do allow maybe for more systems to be integrated or to have better monitoring or other advantages and disadvantages. So making a decision on this solution is extremely important, as it will set you up either for success or failure, or make your life easy or hard, depending on which solution you choose for your specific use case. And that's why you need, of course, an expert partner that can guide you through making that decision and also through the setup of that integration. That is us, obviously. Let's continue. All right, so what does the integration actually entail? You have different parts. So you have the actual integration setup, meaning we set up the integration solution. For example, let's say it's a third-party module. We install this module on your Shopify store. We configure the integration settings. We set up some workflows. We map the products via SKU between the two systems, so Shopify and Odoo. We do some, we set up the automated syncs. So for example, we want to sync the orders from Shopify to Odoo. We want to sync the order update from Odoo to Shopify. And maybe we also want to sync the inventory from Odoo to Shopify. So all of those configurations need to be done on an integration level. But this is not the only part of the integration. Like I said before, we have our process integration as well. So this means that on accounting level, you will have to set up maybe a new sales journal for your Shopify store. You will maybe have to set up different bank journals per payment provider. You'll have to set up different automated reconciliation rules because of those different payment providers. If you have different tax setups or complex fiscal positions or different entities that are involved here, then all of this is also configuration that needs to happen. Same thing for the logistical setup. What if you have a specific fulfillment process for B2C sales? Then you would need to set that up in Odoo as well, if that's not the case yet, setting up locations and so forth. So it's not just about setting up an integration solution, it's about adapting your systems and processes to make sure everything works correctly as well. All right, that was me drinking a sip of water. Let's actually show you how it works. So we have our Shopify store or Shopify instance here. We have a Odoo database, and for this particular demo, we've used a third-party Shopify integration module, which we use quite often, and that is here this custom module marketplaces, which we've added, and we've already integrated our Shopify instance. As you can see here, or here, I've already set up the integration. Good thing here to show you as well is I can add as many instances as I want to. So if I have 7 Shopify stores, I can add all of them or integrate with all of them. So how does integration happen? Well, we generate API keys within the Shopify store, and we insert them here. This way, the Odoo database can talk with your Shopify instance. I'm not going to go to the technical details here. That's way too boring, but that's how it, in a nutshell, happens. And then we have all of these configuration tabs, which we have to go through. So which languages are related to the instance, what type of logging we want to do. On a product level, do we want to map products based on barcode or SKU or both? Do we want to create products within Odoo if they're added on Shopify or not? I think I will maybe turn this one off. I don't want that. Do you want to sync images as well? So yeah, these are all different configurations that we want to do, decisions we need to make. Do we want to sync the free to use quantity for stock, or do you want to sync what we actually have in stock? So in this case, I've selected free to use quantity, which is our quantity on hand. What do we actually have on stock minus the reserved quantity as well. So this is what we actually can sell. On the order tab, we have also a lot of different configurations. What type of tax system do we want to follow? Are we following the marketplace? So marketplace being the Shopify tax system, or are we recalculating the tax here in Odoo? Do we want a prefix in front of the order number? Do we want to follow the order sequence of the marketplace? Marketplace being Odoo, Shopify. So here are all of different types of configurations you need to do. I'm not going to go through all of them. Then an important one here is the workflow. If you're using different payment providers, then this is particularly important. So what are these workflows? Well, let me show you them. So if we go to Marketplace Automation, then here we will see different workflows. As you can see here, I've set up a Mollie workflow. And in this case, I'm actually confirming an order. So meaning if an order is synced to Odoo, it will confirm the order. It will create an invoice. It will force a payment reference, meaning that the marketplace order number will be used as a payment reference on the invoice. This helps with the reconciliation of the payments because the payments that you will sync via the Mollie platform to Odoo will contain the order number within Shopify. So you will need this in your payment reference in Odoo in order to have a matching unique number. We can validate the invoice, register the payment. We can create credit notes as well. We're going to force the invoice date, meaning that the invoice date will be set the same as the order date within Shopify. Why do we want this? Well, let's say, for example, that for some reason the integration is down, or there's a delay in syncing because we're using a scheduled action, meaning that every X amount of times the orders are synced from Shopify to Odoo. Well, this will mean that it's possible that the invoice date is not the same as the order date. If someone orders at the end of the day at 11:50, they're sitting in their couch, they're ordering something, and the synchronization happens 15 minutes later on the next day, so 5 after 12, then the invoice date will be 1 day later from the order date, and that will also make it hard to reconcile those orders because the dates are different. So that's the configuration of your workflow. And additionally here, you're also going to configure certain things regarding the accounting side. So if you're using different payment providers and if you're creating invoices and you want to reconcile every individual order within Odoo, then you will also have to create different payment journals because you'll have a payment journal for Mollie where you will integrate this journal with the Mollie platform to get the payments in. And there you will reconcile all those payments. Same thing for PayPal or for Shopify. No, not Shopify payments, but same thing for PayPal or Stripe. You would want to have different workflows that use different payment journals. The order journal in this case is also a specific one, Shopify, which can be used for all of the workflows as these are all Shopify orders, of course. So this workflow is something you would need to configure based on how you want to process the order within your accounting and how many payment providers you have as well. So if you go back to the instance and where I left the screen, we go back here, then you will see here that we have our Mollie workflow selected here. And basically what this means is that these two fields are coming from Shopify. So if an order is synced, it will have a certain payment gateway. This is the payment provider, in this case, Mollie. And the order will also have a financial status. So as you can see here, this is the payment status. It's the same as financial status. So most of the time, this is just paid. And if these two conditional parameters are true, then we should apply this workflow and set this payment term on our order, which is an immediate payment because the order is, of course, already paid. And this workflow will be followed, meaning that the order will be created, invoice will be created, and so forth and so forth. All right, so you can set up different workflows depending on specific use cases. That's basically the key takeaway. Then you also have your automatic jobs. So what kind of syncs do you want to set up? In this case, I've activated a couple of them. So we have our import order sync. So import meaning import from Shopify into Odoo. And the sync is happening every 5 minutes. And it's active. Then we also have our export, meaning export from Odoo to Shopify, the order status and tracking information. So we're processing the order in Odoo, but once the order is fulfilled, meaning the last step of the fulfillment process has been validated, we want to send that information back to Shopify and change the status from unfulfilled to fulfilled. This is, of course, an important trigger for email marketing automation workflows. Lastly, our product inventory. Every hour, we're syncing the stock information, so the free-to-use quantity from Odoo to Shopify. Why is that important? Well, let's say that Odoo is a source of truth for inventory, and in Odoo, we have all of the order information. So we have the order information from Shopify, but we also do B2B sales. Maybe you have a third channel, maybe you have a point of sale. Well, all these orders are reducing the stock, but in Shopify, you just have the order information from Shopify. So you don't know about all the other sales, which are decreasing your inventory. So that's why you want to export your inventory from Odoo to Shopify so that you're not selling stuff that you will not be able to send. There are, of course, different other things here, which you can activate depending on your needs. Now, this is all good, but let's say that for some reason, the syncs aren't happening. So there are a couple of errors. Maybe the SKU is not set on a product, meaning it can't map the product from Shopify to Odoo, or there's a certain workflow that hasn't been configured properly, and therefore the order can be processed. How do you know that this happened, and how do you resolve this? Well, all of these things happen with queues, meaning they will generate queues for example, order syncs. And depending on whether all of them have been processed or not, you will see here processed, but you can also see in a couple of examples that they are failed. Let me find one here. Okay. Yeah, here failed. So as you can see here, some orders were not synced. And in this case, you can see that the SKU and barcode is not set in the marketplace or on the Shopify product. So the system doesn't know which Odoo product it should use for that order. Well, it's all very nice that these queues are generated and that even logs are generated with all of the issues. But if nobody knows this, then yeah, nobody will see it, and we'll be able to resolve it. That's also a nice thing with this specific solution for the integration, that you have a notification and alert system where you can basically notify someone through email or different ways that something went wrong and needs to be resolved. All right, so that's in a nutshell the integration part of the setup. What I've also done is I've had to, or I created different journals within my accounting. So I've created a Shopify sales journal. I've created a Mollie bank journal. So this is all standard Odoo configuration that needs to happen. I've also created a inventory specific flow for my B2C deliveries. So in this case, I'm fulfilling from different locations within my warehouse for the B2C orders. Maybe there are smaller packages, so I have a different process there. Then lastly, regarding configuration is I've set up a different delivery methods here, bpost, because this one also has to be mapped from Shopify to Odoo. So let's open an order here. The shipping that is being used here is bpost. Well, in Odoo, we of course need to use bpost as well. So that's why there's also a mapping being done here through the Shopify carrier code. And why is this quite important is because on my delivery method, I can even specify a specific route, which is a operational process that I want to use for these orders that contain this delivery method. And in this case, it's the delivery in 2 steps. Pick the ship for B2C for my online orders. So that's how I'm guaranteeing that orders that are coming in from Shopify to Odoo are not being processed in the same way as my B2B orders. All right, let's give it a try. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this existing order. So that was order 1008, and I'm now going to create order 1009. I'm going to add shipping, bpost again, and I'm going to simulate a payment. So I'm doing everything here from the back office, of course, but in reality, you would have a customer who's going on a web shop, who's added the product to their baskets, and who selected a shipping method, selected how they want to pay, entered their information. But for demonstration purposes, I'm doing this from the back office. The end result is exactly the same. You will have a order in the back office, which is paid, which is ready to be fulfilled. So let's create the order. All right, right now it's marked as unfulfilled. Here in our orders in Odoo, we have order number 1008, so 1009 is not in there yet. Why is that? Because we're using cron jobs or scheduled automations in order to sync them, meaning they don't happen every second, but every X amount of time, the way that I've configured it. In this case, I've configured the order sync to happen every 5 minutes, but let's run it manually so we don't have to wait. Okay, so what this does is this generates a new queue number 12, and then this queue will also be processed within the minutes. Normally, it will be processed, but I don't want to wait a minute, so I'm going to click here, process manually. And as you can see here, there was one order and it was processed, and you can even click here on the orders, but let's, for the sake of this demo, just go to the overview of our orders. And here you can see order number 1009 was synced with this bpost delivery method, just like we want to. All of the information is also accurate with the order, and it even generated an invoice because that's what we specified in our workflow. So here you can see invoice was generated. Great. It generated our delivery steps as well. So we have our picking step and we have our outgoing step as well. So from our warehouse to the customer. Let's validate these steps. So we're going to pick the product. We're going to move it to the outgoing location, and then bpost arrives with their truck, and we load it into their truck. We validate this as well. You can already see here a button, update the marketplace, but we're not going to click on this button. We're going to use the scheduler to update this status to fulfilled. All right. Let's go back. Automatic jobs. And here we're going to run this one, export order status and tracking information manually. There we go. We go here and it's already been marked as fulfilled. So this is even faster than I could refresh the screen. But as you can see here, it was unfulfilled and now it's been marked as fulfilled just now. Okay, so this is basically how the integration works. In a nutshell, of course, this is a very simple demonstration that I just did. So what are some other takeaways here is what makes this integration more complex than you would initially expect. Well, there are some drivers of complexity, and here they are. So we have, first of all, products. If you have just one product, then that would mean that it's very easy to sync those products between two systems. If you have a lot of products, meaning hundreds or thousands or even 10,000s, then that would, of course, increase the complexity of the integration because you probably would have bundles and different types of attributes and variants, etc. So this is just something that increases the complexity for this integration. Additionally, if you have many multiple entities, or if you have a lot of instances, a lot of Shopify instances, if you have a complex tech structure, then this also would have a lot of, or increase rather, the impact on your accounting setup, which would also be needed to set up this integration properly. If you have a specific B2C fulfillment process, then that also would have to be set up. So again, here, something you would probably need help with. If you have a lot of payment providers, Shopify Payments, Stripe, Mollie, PayPal, Klarna, there are thousands of them these days. All of these payment providers also require set up within your accounting for the reconciliation rules, bank journals, etc. Setting up specific workflows for them, making sure that everything is processed in a proper way. So don't be mistaken by my simple demo that I just said, that this is super easy and you can probably do it yourself. You may be able to do it yourself if you're selling a couple of products and you have a super simple setup. But even then, I would advise you to seek help in order to avoid the obvious things and mistakes which we know. All right. Thank you for listening. My name is Julien Verheughe. You can reach out through my email, julien@digital.com, if you want to have a chat, if you want to learn more about this, or if you just want to have a coffee. I'm definitely always available. Thank you for sticking with me until now, and I hope you're having a great day.